right. Hello.
Well, hello.
How are you?
Good, really good.
And okay, let's start off. Where were you born?
I was born in Dinard, France. It's in Brittany. It's one of the area northwest of France.
Okay, and where is your family from?
My family is mainly from Brittany and France too. Then I have some great grandparents. I don't know if you want to hear about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe. For my dad's side, it's more Irish, and my mom's side is Spanish and Turkish. But yeah, well, but my whole up to my grandparents all French. They were born in France.
And can you talk about your living arrangements growing up, or like describe where you grew up at?
I grew up on the top of my dad's bakery. It was fun living there. I mean, not that I remember a lot of it, but yeah, it was cool. And my parents got divorced when I was four or five, and we moved down. We moved down from Brittany to La Rochelle, which is really close to Bordeaux. It's like southwest. I mean, like Midwest, we could call it. And it was very different because like Brittany is very like British style, and La Rochelle, the second city, is very it's very different. It's like a big harbor, more like Newport type of thing.
Okay.
So that's basically it. I don't know if you.
That's good. Okay. What languages are you fluent in, and how often do you use them?
French, very often. English, a lot, every day. Spanish, I don't know if I would be like extremely fluent about it, but I can understand pretty much anything and speak a little bit and never really use it. Yeah.
Okay. And when and how did you first learn English?
I first started learning English when I was, I don't know, we started middle school, and that's when we get our first classes at school there in France. But it's not really, yeah, if I have to say, like, I have my first English classes in middle school, but I actually really started learning English when I really came here. I mean, it's just like, just totally different.
And how long have you been here for?
I've been here for 5 years.
What do you think the most difficult thing about learning English is?
I would say getting the slang and the jokes, how to make jokes. It's like when I was able to crack my first like English jokes, it's just I felt good about it. I think that's the hardest. I mean, you just have to be in it, and it's like I don't know, it's like music, it's the same thing. It's just like you have to hear it a lot to remember it. But I think the hardest is getting the slang, just talking to like everyday languages to people without sounding like you're 3 years old.
Okay. Do you feel like you express yourself better in your native language or English?
I will have to say French because I really like the way I speak in, I don't know, it's kind of weird to say that, but I really like the way I speak in French. Like I have some way of talking that I've like mastered through like the years.
Yeah.
But I kind of like English. I like the English language better than French, so like for me it's more pleasant to speak English than French.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Do you tend to seek out relationships with people who share your native culture or others?
Others. It's easier for me because I've been here for 5 years, so I'm less now. If we would have had this interview like the first year I was here, I would definitely say like I'm looking for French people or French speaking people. But now, no, it doesn't. I mean it's fun, but I don't know.
Okay. Growing up, how involved were your parents in your daily life?
I think they were really. My mom was really involved. I mean, I don't remember much before my parents divorced, but. My dad even if I was not living in the same area, he's still been there for me like, all the time, and my mom a lot, like being like a single mom, she took care of me and my sister like big time.
Cool. Okay. Describe the schools you attended growing up.
It's very my favorite was elementary school, and that's when I moved out from my dad's to the new place, and it was awesome. It was just like a little town next to a big town, but just everybody knew each other. Amazing school, amazing people. It was just different, having like 35 people the whole year that you love being with, because like our teacher loved us so much that he decided to keep us like as in France we only have like one teacher for everything when we were in elementary. And he decided to keep us for three straight years, which never really happened. But like he loved us so much, so we had like this type of like community thing that we really liked. Kind of like what there is here, when you're from like the same, year when you're entering, I don't know, high school or college, like everybody kind of like that was like the same thing. But it's very typical French, and then bakery right in front of the school. Parents waiting for you at like 3 p.m. when you're getting off. Very, very, very French.
Culturally, how do you identify yourself?
How do I, right now, nowadays, it's hard because I feel half American and half French. I love being, I'm French, but for some reason, I feel prouder being American than I'm like being French. I tend to forget about it. I'm like reminded of it every time I go back to France, and I love it. And I love being French when I'm somewhere else too. It's always nice to talk about it, but I'm definitely like from American. So.
Okay. What are your current religious beliefs and practices?
My current, I don't know, I have plenty of beliefs. Growing up in France, we don't have all this Catholic influence. We don't go to church. We don't, do all that. I mean, it's not something like from our daily lives. And I started coming here and attended a Christian church, the Vineyard, and I love the message of it. So I can't call myself a Christian because I've never been, baptized or, never anything so. But I go like to church at least once a month. I try to. And I love the message. I don't know if I agree with everything. I'm very like spiritual. So.
Did the media influence your perception of the way Americans communicate verbally and non-verbally before you came to America?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's totally different. Media is everything on your like. America is defined by media when you're abroad. People don't know what it is. I didn't even know what it was before I came here. And you see stuff like in the media talking about the government, and the media try to create like the American government and everything that happens with it, and like say that the people of America, the Americans are the same as their government, and that's it. And especially coming from France, we're like very judgmental, and media is like that too. Like we judge people a lot, and you might not realize it, but it affects you a lot. So I had a totally different idea of America before I came here, and I think if what the French media would was right, if the image they were betrayed, no, what is it? Like showing us there was that the actual image, I don't think I would have stayed here in the U.S. But then I came here for a year and found out that it was very influential. Like people in France are influenced by the media a lot. It's a wrong image.
Okay. Were there any cultural communication differences between English and French? For example, do the French place a big emphasis on personal space, like when communicating as an ethnicity?
Yeah. No, it is very different. Everything is very different. Mannerism, just the way we introduce ourselves. Like we just kiss each other in France, and really just like shake hands, maybe hug people, like kind of, but. That was like a big difference. Then when you talk to people, it's really hard when you're French because we don't have the same sarcasm, like about things. Same way jokes work. So like for us, when we're French and we first come here, we don't get any jokes, and we respond to every joke like seriously. We don't have any like answer to it, so it might be kind of lame, but I think that's it. And then. Yeah, just the way you introduce yourself and talk to people. I mean, it's very different. I like it. once you get used to it, it's good.
How would you describe your typical Saturday? Do you feel that weekend rituals for Americans are different from rituals in France?
Yes, they are. Here, I feel like here people are rule, especially like being in Columbus. I feel like people are like influenced by the game day. Like usually Saturday is like game day, and you do something. You you grill out. You have like a special. It's very different. Like France is very different. Doesn't In France we don't look at the weekend the same way that people do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like here it's more like good time to like all get together and have fun time and just like watch some good games and go out, drink a little, especially being on campus. You know, it's like
Yeah.
good time to all get together and but in France it's kind of different. It's you do whatever. I mean it's the weekend, it's cool, you get your own. It's not as, you know, there's no. I think here it's more like scheduled. Like you know there's gonna be something. And it's gonna be fun. I mean it's like doesn't, you know, but it's gonna be scheduled. And in France it's more like, well, yeah, whatever. You have weekend. Just go to the beach on Saturday and like grill out on Sunday.
Is it ever difficult to understand your peers, professors, etc.? And if so, what do you do when you do not understand?
It is sometime when I've never heard like a word, like or something like that, or when it's really like something I've been here for so long that now I kind of get a grasp of everything, but I usually try to understand it. If I don't, that's my bad side. I don't ask for anything, so I will maybe ask later, like some friends if I'm in school, like if they're gonna talk about something. I have a hard time with like business and, you know, stuff like that. Words that you don't use it like every day with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so I usually go back home, Google it, or ask my friends about it. I try to get around it to understand it. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're being judged because of your accent, or do you find it to your advantage?
Well, I would say some would use it at their advantage. Definitely, you can definitely use it as your advantage. I don't think I've kind of lost a little bit, and I love it because I love not being seen for Frenchy, because now my life is here, so I don't want to be like Frenchy all my life. That was fun for the first 2 years, but now I just want to be Irvin and be known, you know. It's getting tiring too, like I've really worked on it because it gets really tiring to hear, oh, so you're from France, and like the basic questions like freedom fries and all that shit, like I don't know, now I just want to talk, so what do you do here, before I'm actually saying, oh, but wait, I hear like a little accent, where you're from, but after like an hour conversation. So, you can definitely use it, especially if it's French, you can definitely use it as your advantage. But I try not to, like I just like to be known as Irvin and not Frenchy.
Okay. Was your transition coming to the United States difficult, or for you, your family and friends?
My family and friends, like in France,
France.
like people that were around me. For me, it was the first year was really hard because I came here for high school, so like senior high school. And you jump right into something like in senior class where people have known each other for like 4 years and they've been around for 4 years and everyone knows each other. It's kind of hard, but after that, it wasn't that hard. I starting college, then everybody starts from fresh, so it doesn't matter. And for my family, it has been hard, but like in France, we have this, I think culturally we're very different. I think they give us more space. We're more able to take this like separation between us. People travel a lot, you know, kids. I mean, there's tons of like French kids that travel around the world. So I feel like it's a little easier, but it's still hard, you know.
Okay. What is it like being in a new type of living community? What is different about where you live now opposed to your native country or community or your neighborhood?
I don't know. So I feel like people here are very friendly with each other, being like in the same neighborhood or like. But yeah, in France it's maybe not as much. Like people don't talk as much like with neighbors. I don't think so, but I think here people are more friendly, more like have this community, feeling about, like, America is based on that. I think it's community, people living together. I think it's like reflects to every, even like to a neighborhood. That's what people feel like, but it's very different. Like houses are very different. In France, we have a fence around like each house. And we don't have any open backyards. We don't have. It's very different. So it's still different. Yeah.
Do you feel there is a difference in the setup of American schools opposed to your native country's school system? And do you feel like it's a good change being an American student, or are you able to compare?
It is a huge difference. American system is like, I think it's one that I know where you don't stick around like in the same class. Like you have the same year class, but I don't feel like when I was in high school I had a different class every time with different people. In France, you are the whole year, all the way to high school, you're in the same class for the whole year. The same like 45 people, and it can be nice sometimes, but sometimes not. So it doesn't really help to like opening to other people in your school. In France, you don't have a choice on choosing your classes. In high school, you can. Like you still have to take like the basic classes, but you have a choice like to take some like fun class too, like photography. I mean, school is horrible in France. I'll tell you, it is so hard. We're in class from like 8 in the morning to 5:30 at night. An hour to eat or an hour and a half, but it's like 8 hours classes straight for 5 days a week, and you deal with it. And it's a lot of information, like a lot of information. No fun. There's no fun in school in France. Like here you can have like, because you have your football team or you have like a fun thing to do at school, theater, whatever. You don't have that in France. So school is just made to study, but not to create like this community feel, and we're definitely not to help you also. And then when I came here, first of all, just because school is more relaxed, people are happy to come to school, just to see their friends, to go play some sports, to do whatever, waiting on Friday night football. And teachers are more relaxed too, because it's a better, I think, system, so they're not as stressed as they are in France. And so they have more time for like individuals, and yeah, I think everything. That's why I stayed here. School here is great, and if you really want to succeed, you really can.
Okay. In America, most people don't acquire a second language until they're way past their critical language period, like age 6 or 5 or 6. Do you think it is important to become bilingual at a young age, or do you feel it doesn't really matter?
It is. I think it is. It is important to be bilingual, but no, not but, because I mean, it opens so much doors. Like when I remember, like now when I go back to France and I go on vacation with my friends, in another country or just England, I'm the only one being able like to talk to people and just actually have a great time there with other people there, because like it's all about this community feel, It's just you get to learn so much more from other people, and yeah, but. Then learning, once again, like I've met so many people that told me, I've had like 6 years of French in school, and we can't even talk. So I think it's important to learn it, but like from really, really early. Like your parents should I will talk to my kids in English and French, so they can, they have a grasp of it and don't have to learn it in school. Like school is not a great setting to learn a language. It's good for math and all that, but not for languages.
Okay.
It is really important.
Do you have other family members who also know English, and do past generations of your family have experience with speaking English?
Yeah, my dad speaks English. My mom got to learn it after I came here. Like she just like by coming and visiting me here, she started learning it. My sister speaks 6 languages, so I can't even compete with that. But before that, no. I think it was, I think my grandparents speak a little, but just because of their like current life, they're very like, they travel all the time and all that, but it's rare to find in France like grandparents that can speak English or stuff like that. So I think like up to the parents, because I don't even think it was required before, so yeah.
How have your views about American culture changed since you've lived here?
Love it. I didn't know a lot about it. I thought it was just like, like the big picture that we have about America is like American, that movie American Pie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's what we